The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
We have the worst revival of an economy since the Great Depression. And believe me, we're in a bubble right now. And the only thing that looks good is the stock market. But if you raise interest rates even a little bit, that's going to come crashing down. We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble. And we better be awfully careful. And we have a Fed that's doing political things. This Janet Yellen of the Fed. The Fed is doing political by keeping the interest rates at this level. And believe me, the day Obama goes off and he leaves and he goes out to the golf course for the rest of his life to play golf, when they raise interest rates, you're going to see some very bad things happen because the Fed is not doing their job. The Fed is being more political than Secretary Clinton.
And Trump hit the nail on the head with that one. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to a Phil's Gang radio show, coast to coast, the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. You are joined today by JR.
Hello.
Steve.
Yeah.
And my name is Alex. We have a lot of ground to cover today. Of course, last night was the first presidential debate with the Republican candidate Donald Trump and the Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Questions being asked, of course, by Lester Holt, and I don't believe that Lester asked too many difficult questions. Some of the topics that needed to be addressed, though, it was clean energy. Hillary had quite a bit to say in regards to clean energy. It's just she was hitting some numbers that didn't make too much sense, and that some of the ideas of this clean energy didn't make a whole lot of sense either. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what she had to say.
My plans, and they've said, okay, if we can do this, and I intend to get it done, we will have 10 million more new jobs. Because we will be making investments where we can grow the economy. Take clean energy. Some country is going to be the clean energy superpower of the 21st century, both at home and abroad. And here's what we can do. We can deploy 500 million more solar panels. We can have enough clean energy to power every home. We can build a new modern electric grid. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of new economic activity.
Well, a lot of jobs maybe, but 10 million? I'm not sure where she's getting that number from. And addressing solar panels here, just for my own sake of knowledge, I went onto Google, and they have this solar savings estimator. You go ahead and type in your home address, and it estimates the savings that you would get. And it's assuming that you have a monthly electricity bill of $150 when the utility prices are rising at a rate of 2.2% per year. And my estimating savings came out to be $4,000 over a 20-year period. Now, my upfront cost for this after incentives is $42,000. And JR, that's not a very good savings there, or at least an ROI.
1%. Yeah, about 1% you would have made back on your investment of the $42,000 that you spent in order to save the 1%. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't see how making that type of investment would be good for the United States because we already have $20 trillion worth of debt.
We did this with Solandra before. Trump talks about that, by the way.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a listen to that then.
She talks about solar panels. We invested in a solar company, our country. That was a disaster. They lost plenty of money on that one. Now, look, I'm a great believer in all forms of energy, but we're putting a lot of people out of work. Our energy policies are a disaster. Our country is losing so much in terms of energy, in terms of paying off our debt. You can't do what you're looking to do with $20 trillion in debt.
He's absolutely correct. I mean, taxpayers are on the hook for more than $2.2 billion in expected costs from the federal government's energy loan guaranteed programs, according to a new audit Monday that suggests the controversial projects may not pay for themselves, as officials had promised. There's a big surprise. Nearly
Wow.
$1 billion in loans have already defaulted under the Energy Department program, which included the infamous, what was that again, JR?
Solandra, they ended up losing $535 million worth of taxpayer money for their wonderful solar plans, sort of like what it's exactly what Obama played the first time he got elected, and he was going to create 5 million jobs, which didn't create, I think he created like 5,000 green jobs.
We will have 10 million more new jobs because we will be making investments where we can grow the economy.
But it's the same exact playbook from the same exact people who handed the playbook down there.
Right. The Obama administration actually approved it, and it's totaling nearly $30 billion in taxpayer backing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it doesn't sound like a good plan to me.
It won't be, no.
Well, yeah, and also Hillary was talking about the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, and I definitely want to play this clip for you.
You go anywhere you want, Secretary Clinton, and you will see devastation where manufacturing is down 30, 40, sometimes 50%. NAFTA is the worst trade deal maybe ever signed anywhere, but certainly ever signed in this country. And now you want to approve Trans-Pacific Partnership. You were totally in favor of it. Then you heard what I was saying, how bad it is, and you said, I can't win that debate. But you know that if you did win, you would approve that, and that will be almost as bad as NAFTA. Nothing will ever top NAFTA.
That is just not accurate. I was against it once it was finally negotiated and the terms were laid out. I wrote about that in...
You called it the gold standard.
I hope...
You called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a sudden you were against it.
Well, Donald, I know you live in your own reality, but that is not the facts. The facts are, I did say I hoped it would be a good deal.
Did Hillary actually call it the gold standard? Well, let's do a fact check.
We need to keep upping our game, both bilaterally and with partners across the region through agreements like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP. Australia is a critical partner. This TPP sets the gold standard in trade agreements.
And that's a fact check. The Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, okay, the TPP, it's a secretive multinational trade agreement that threatens to extend restrictive intellectual property laws across the globe and rewrite international rules on its enforcement. And it's digital policies that benefit big corporations at the expense of the public. There's a lack of transparency. So give me your opinion on the TPP, JR, please.
It's not a very good one at all. We saw with the NAFTA and how wonderful that worked out for all of us and all the jobs lost. It's going to be just as bad, if not worse, because what this one does is actually gives them the ability to hold copyrights for 99 years. So next time you get your prescription to go get those antibiotics or whatever you want to get from when you go to the pharmacy, rather than being able to buy a generic version of what you're looking for, even in the older ones, they're able to stop them. They're going to have to wait 99 years before they can make an actual generic version of whatever they came out with. So it's going to be very lucrative for the multinationals. It's not going to help middle-class people at all. Lower class is going to get worse. In fact, more people in the middle class are going to fall into the lower class, just like with NAFTA. It's sort of a NAFTA on steroids, really, is what it is.
And that is not a good idea at all. And just to let you know, Phil Grandy on a well-deserved vacation. Once again, my name is Alex. You're being joined with JR and Steve. If you want to know what we do here at Phil's Gang, go to www.philsgang.com, or please, by all means, give us a call here at 1-877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Please stand by. We'll be right back.
Want more information on Phil Grandy is a career businessman who's also been an entrepreneur all his life. has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with a prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, people make it too complicated. Wall Street tells you the market cap is trailing PE and the forward PE and price to sales to confuse you. All you need to know is, does the stock have volume? What's that mean? Energy. What does that mean? If you have people buying a stock, enough of the stock's being bought, it influences the prices to go up. Join my gang, philsgang.com. We're using charting, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who's also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with a prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. You're listening to the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grandy. Be sure to check out the all-new Phil's Gang website at philsgang.com.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. This is JR. I'm filling in for the vacationing Phil Grandy, who's enjoying a much-deserved and hope he's getting well rested on his vacation. So we'll go on with our Stock Corner.
Stock Corner is brought to you by the Phil's Gang Max Investor 1000 Stock Charts.
And if you're interested in trading stocks or if you want to learn how to do it, please join the gang, philsgang.com, or call us at 877-600-4264. And I'd like to just turn back time a little bit, and let's talk about low rates here. Now, the Fed has come out many times and told us how wonderful low rates are, like this cut from Bernanke, for example.
It's also true that low interest rates are making it easier for people to buy homes, are increasing the price of homes, are increasing construction jobs and other jobs related to housing, have supported automobile purchases and manufacturing, and are generally adding both to employment and to the wealth of Americans.
Really, he sounds really like he's telling the truth. Anyway, it's been 8 years since the great financial crisis of 2008, and Big Bernanke and Janet Yellen, Stanley Fischer, and the Federal Reserve has still maintained unprecedented levels of accommodation in monetary policy. In other words, free money. The Federal Reserve fund rate has been pinned at zero since near 2008, and we are now in a world of Fed raising rates. Mere 0.25% turns an entire financial economic world upside down. And that's what happened back the first of the year when they decided to, just pump the rates up just a tiny little bit, 0.25%, and we lost the stock market. We had a 14% correction. We, of course, here at Phil's Gang, we're here shorting that correction. Phil was definitely on record saying that we needed to short prior to that. We were short. All of our gang members that were short made a really nice bit of profit on the way down. We also made a profit on the way back up, and that's part of being a gang member. You learn how to trade both sides of the market, so you're not always stuck hoping that your stock will just go up. You'll make it both ways. You'll be able to short, you'll be able to go long. And if you can't short, they have inverse ETFs for folks that don't have margins accounts that can actually just buy something that goes up when the market goes down. And then we have Yellen, of course, talking about evaluations.
In general, I would not say that asset valuations are out of line with historical norms. We're not seeing signs of leverage building up or maturity transformation in the way that we saw in the run-up to the crisis.
Okay, well, here's something that's unbelievable. Obama's on track to be the first president in all of U.S. history to never even have a single year where the U.S. economy grew by at least 3%.
Wow!
And Trump mentioned that last night. The Wall Street Journal reported the new numbers out the other day. The corporate profits have fallen 5 quarters in a row. Default rates in the U.S. corporate debt are the highest they have been since the last financial crisis. So I don't know where she gets her information. It's nowhere near what we can find in the public outlets. The rate of home ownership in the U.S. has fallen every single year. Well, we just heard that Bernanke cut where he said that the zero rates is going to help ownership. That apparently didn't work. Since Obama's been in the White House, but in many markets, home prices are higher to the highest point. Just ask Californians in Florida. We had Craig Roberts on yesterday talking about housing in California being upwards of $1 million, which means you'd have to have 1-2% of $1 million just to even try to buy a home in California. The other thing that's also I should mention is a lot of these homes that went vacant after the 2008 collapse got bought up by multinational investment firms and are being rented back to the very people that they were taken from. So not only did we lose our equity, we've lost the ability to create more equity while giving it to the people that we bailed out, essentially. Pretty ironic, isn't it? But let's keep going on. Let's talk about some stocks here.
You've often recommended buying Disney for kids. So would you still recommend Disney for my grandkids?
I will tell you this. I think that owning Disney over time will be good.
Kramer talking about owning Disney over time. Here's some more on Disney.
I've got to buy on Disney. The performance of the NBA Finals last night, what a game. But the ratings there and probably the monetization of that game just reflect and validate the value of live sports.
Yeah.
Disney had a little bit of a down week last week. I think it's a buying opportunity. I think stock's up 30%.
Okay. So as soon as you hear someone say, I think that the stock is up somewhere, notice the words they think. That's an easy way to get out of saying that you know or you don't know. You think so. So that means when you were wrong, well, I just thought, I guess I was wrong. Anyway, the charts told us clearly, since 2016, Disney's been down 12%. Any of these people, had you had listened to them, you would have lost, just alone since August, 6% of what you invested. These cuts are from June and August. So, if you had listened to them, you literally would have lost 6% of whatever you gave in, and all you had to do was actually pull up a chart and look at it. You could clearly see money flowing out of Disney while they were saying buy it. Part of the reason they do this is because these guys work for big hedge fund corporations. Kramer himself runs his own. They tell you to buy while their buddies are getting out. See, they want you to hold the price up for them while their friends with the millions and billions of dollars exit stage right, and you can continue to hold that price up so while they're exiting, things don't fall apart on, their little buddies, and they can make that extra $4 billion rather than, only $2 billion. And that's the way it works. Whenever you hear them recommend stocks and you don't know how to read a chart, you're putting yourself at risk, because they're not going to tell you what's right for you. They're going to tell you what's right for them and who they work for. Most of the times, they either run their own funds or are working for somebody else that runs the fund. We'll be right back after this. If you'd like to learn more about Phil's Gang, please go to our website, philsgang.com, or give us a call, 877-600-4264.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Do you invest in a 401k or an IRA? Did you know you could lose 30, 40, even 50% of your investments when the market crashes? It's time you take control of your investments. For over 15 years, philsgang.com's Phil Grandy has been teaching, coaching, and investing right along with all Phil's Gang members, making profits when the market is up or down. philsgang.com posts daily market updates, has a live investing class, and all material is archived. Sounds too good to be true? Why not join thousands of satisfied Phil's Gang customers today? Go to philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You hear me talk about 401ks every day on my radio show. Why? Because it's such a disservice. 89 million Americans have a 401k. There's 638,000 plans. And the father of the 401k, Ted Brenner, even admitted they're a scam. He doesn't endorse them anymore because of the ridiculous fees. You got to get away from those fees. Remember, every 1% fee, they take 30% of your retirement money. The average fund is 2.5%. 60% of the money is going to be gone when you're ready to retire. You don't need to do that. There's an alternative. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Seek out the alternative. Give yourself a break. philsgang.com. Sign up today.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who's also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with the prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com. Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? You know, reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, or prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you will be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, there's nothing worse than you're investing in a stock and during the day something happens and you don't know what to do. You don't know who to call. Or you call somebody and they just give you a bunch of BS. Not here at Phil's Gang. We value every gang member. During the day, you got a question about your stock, you contact us. We have the best service in the world. philsgang.com. You're not alone. You're a gang member.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back to Phil's Gang Radio Show. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com.
Hello and welcome back to Phil's Gang, the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. And before we were talking about Stock Corner in the last segment, and before that we were talking or discussing the first presidential debate and some of the things that Hillary Clinton was doing. Was talking about the economy and how we're going to change the economy with clean energy, and how she never said that the TPP was the gold standard. And we actually played a clip and caught her. And what we did was a fact check with the fact checker. Isn't that what she calls this thing? A fact checker?
A fact checker.
There we go. So, you know, I'm seeing a trend in America where a lot of Americans are being offended. Okay, they're being offended because of your haircut. They're being offended because you're wearing a shirt that offends them. The Donald Trump hat. I was just watching a video the other day. Somebody was offended because somebody wore a Donald Trump hat that said, "Make this country great again." Okay. I have a hard time believing that these are the things that Americans are getting offended over. I don't understand this. What's offensive to me, okay, is that we have someone running for the presidency. We have somebody running for one of the most powerful seats in the world. And she loses 33,000 emails. And also, which is extremely offensive to me, is she admits that her and the Obama administration funded Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and do
a fact checker.
Remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded. And we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union.
Are you nuts? Seriously. She goes on record, okay, Hillary Clinton admitting that America created and funded Al-Qaeda, which is or was the precursor of ISIS. The same Islamic terrorists who are committing deadly terrorist attacks throughout the world. And Russia's trying to put a stop to them, and she has the audacity to say that we need to engage Russia? That's offensive to me to its fullest term. And Trump, actually, he addresses the whole ISIS thing and terrorist thing to Hillary. This is what Trump has to say about it.
She's telling us how to fight ISIS. Just go to her website. She tells you how to fight ISIS on her website. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much.
The next segment, we're continuing the subject
at least I have a plan to fight ISIS.
No, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're telling the enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
That is the truth right there. Okay, she has no plan to fight ISIS. In fact, she doesn't have a plan to fight them at all. She's talking about engaging Russia, not ISIS. Where is her plan? I would love to hear her plan. In fact, I went to her website, and I had to stop reading it. It's gibberish. It doesn't make any sense. And then you have people backing her, okay, in our own Senate. We have a Democratic senator from New York and a Hillary supporter, Christine, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Christine Gillibrand, that she supports Hillary, okay, and her big thing is that people in office in the Senate need to take accountability, and she's going to hold them responsible, yet she supports someone who had openly admitted to the American people that they funded terrorism.
Now, we have been bombing ISIS for 13 months, and we have made no significant progress at all, and ISIS has been growing. Russia has been bombing them within a few days, and many experts say that they have them on the ropes. What is happening here?
I think it is a highly volatile situation, and I think Secretary Clinton said it best, that we need a collaborative plan. She wants to engage Russia, and I think she was very clear about her goals, about how she would move forward, and I think that's the only way we can move forward.
How can we move forward when we finance them?
We obviously should never finance ISIL or ISIS or any terrorist organization.
Well, we did, and Hillary did.
I wouldn't say that that was the purpose of the program. The purpose of the program was to arm the moderates. The moderates turned out to be not great fighters, and so we have what we have.
Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie.
She says right there, we shouldn't fund ISIL, ISIS, terrorism, but yet she did, okay?
What difference at this point does it make?
And now she has a plan to battle them by engaging Russia. How much, talk about offensive. I'm extremely offended because that offends my intelligence. That makes absolutely no sense, especially, you created a monster, all right? And somebody's trying to clean up your mess. And you tell them, hey, don't do that. We'll take care of it. And if you keep doing it, we're going to engage you. Steve, JR, do you find this offensive as an American?
As an American, I find it remarkably incompetent and extremely offensive that my tax dollars that I work hard for, that are taken from me, go to fund insanity, which is what this is. This is absolute insanity. And we had that Democratic senator talking about how, we were funding the freedom fighters. The freedom fighters that turned out to be, what was it, quote, they weren't good fighters.
Yeah,
no.
They weren't so good. They were fighting for freedom, but hey, we funded them, and we're intelligent people too. We took a good look at them before we took your American tax money and said, hey, are these guys good fighters? Absolutely. Put guns in their hands.
Right.
Let them go.
And those freedom fighters are al-Nusra, are Al-Qaeda, all the same people that turned out to be what is now known as ISIS, in the root type of the Sunni Muslims that are doing this terrorism around the world. So it's not like we didn't know already that we were actually giving this money to people who would absolutely turn on us the first chance that they got. And it's incredible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's offensive to me. Okay?
Unbelievable.
And I don't care what shirt
You're
you wear.
responsible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, okay? Here at Phil's Gang, we do take responsibility. Okay? More Americans need to take responsibility, and especially for their finances.
Absolutely.
That's what we do here at Phil's Gang. And Steve would like to talk about, at least touch on some of the things we do here at Phil's Gang.
Yes, Alex, thanks. What we do is we teach you how to look at charts and understand the buy and sell signals of the stock market. Phil Grandy is the master at this, and there's nobody else that you'll find that will do the kind of things that he teaches you for the same dollar amount. He's absolutely the best and the best bargain. We also have our own software that you can use to look at your investments and your trades, and we call this the Max Vest 1000 or MV1 and MV2. And right now, if you join our Phil's Gang at $39.95 per month, you'll get the MV2 software for the first month for free. Just give us a call, 877-600-GANG or 877-600-4264, or go to the website www.philsgang.com, where we'll be happy to help you get going with your investments.
Absolutely. I'm here answering the phone. My name is Alex. Steve is here answering the phones. And also JR will take your emails, jr@philsgang.com, to answer stock questions and, help you every step of the way, especially with the MV2, which is for the working investor. And I'm proud to be a part of this. I'm proud to be a Phil's Gang member myself. And like Steve said, go to philsgang.com. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Most people get involved with a 401k because of the employer match. They really believe that there's free money. There's no free money. It's a scam. Here's how it works. You ever notice that you can't get the money all at once? Why not? Why don't they just give you the match all at once? Why over 6 years? Because they know only 12% of the people who work for a company stay for 6 years or more. Only 12% are there for 6 years. That's why they plugged it to 6 years. They know you're not going to stay. So it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of the company. It's a scam. There's an alternative, though. Phil's Gang. Join my gang. philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. We're a teaching format, and boy, do we give good service. Buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated is so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. You know, most people get involved with a 401k because of the employer match. They really believe that there's free money. There's no free money. It's a scam. Here's how it works. You ever notice that you can't get the money all at once? Why not? Why don't they just give you the match all at once? Why over 6 years? Because they know only 12% of the people who work for a company stay for 6 years or more. Only 12% are there for 6 years. That's why they plugged it to 6 years. They know you're not going to stay. So it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of the company. It's a scam. There's an alternative, though. Phil's Gang. Join my gang. philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. Learn, invest, and profit with Phil Grandy. And be sure to check out philsgang.com.
Hello and welcome back to Phil's Gang Radio Show, coast to coast, off the Wall Street Radio Network. And before the break, we were talking about a little bit about what we do here at Phil's Gang and how dedicated we are. Phil has created a brilliant training platform that we're with you every step of the way. JR is always with you. Steve is always with you. And as a matter of fact, JR, you wanted to talk about some of Jeremy Siegel's theories on slow growth. Correct?
Yes, it's excellent theory Jeremy has come up with. And being a leading economist in Keynesian theory, we've seen how far Keynesianism has brought us in the last 10 years with their zero rates. And I played the cut earlier about Bernanke and the zero rates helping the economy when it actually only ends up helping a small percentage of the economy. Let's listen to Jeremy, what he has to say here.
In a way, slow growth also saves corporations money. They don't have, one reason they're not spending a lot on CapEx is they don't need to expand. I mean, they're satisfying the demand. Slow growth has that silver lining is, guys, I don't have to spend a lot on CapEx. That does mean more money back to the shareholder. The silver lining of slow growth is more income back to the shareholder.
Wow! Okay, so let me break this down for people who aren't acquainted with what he's saying. He's basically saying, because I have a corporation, I'm a Fortune 500 company, I don't have to pump money into my corporation or my Fortune 500. I can just go ahead and sit back and buy my own shares, and and the shareholders will benefit. And that's all fine and good in a short-term outlook of what's going on, but once they raise rates, that's all over with. All those assets that they've been inflating by buying their own shares back and not actually putting it back into their company by getting new equipment, by hiring more people or training the people that they have, or even researching and developing new devices and so on, that, of course, he's saying is a silver lining, will absolutely evaporate as soon as they raise the rates, and all that money that company's gotten for virtually nothing has to be paid back. That's what would happen, and that's the actual storm cloud in his silver lining theory, which is all just a short-term, let's squeeze as much as we can out of these companies. And then, by the time the market collapses, we'll already be out the door with our golden parachutes, is basically what he's saying. Unfortunately, they don't really delineate that properly on, the CNBC channel that this was recorded from. So again, it's all smoke and mirrors with these guys. They assume that A, we'll be able to raise rates and everything will be fine. They assume that B, we'll always be able to borrow money, that there'll never be a debt crisis, which, already happened once in 2008 when all the banks couldn't even trust each other's balance sheets because of all of the bad loans and everything on them. They just don't seem to put that into their equation at all, and it's more of what Phil's talked about for years, where it's just talk everything up. Everything's fine. Just you'll be fine.
You're fine. You don't pay attention to the value of your house every day. Don't pay attention to your portfolio every day. Have a good, sound plan so you can go on and enjoy life.
While we take all of your money and put it in our back pocket.
Yeah, well, that sounded like another theory, didn't it? If you just kind of sit back and you don't watch the value of your home, you don't watch the value of anything, you can just sit back and enjoy your life. You have no worries, correct?
If this were a perfect world, you'd be correct. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world where 401ks are an absolute scam. The fees on them, just a 1% fee per annum. Remember, that's annual. You're paying every year 1% on what you're putting in. Will wipe out all of your investments. I mean, we've known this for a while.
We knew there were just a ton more fees behind there somewhere, and we just had to find them.
Fees amounting to just 2% can devour half your retirement savings.
This has been coming to head in the last few years with more and more 401k investment firms getting slapped with lawsuits by people who could have sworn they would have invested, $100,000, $200,000, they'd be fine once they retired, and then retirement comes up and they're penniless and have to go back to work at Publix or wherever just to make ends meet. And still, every day, you see the commercials, you see the billions of dollars that the lobbyists on Wall Street go and push bills through like Dodd-Frank that effectively wiped out all of the small banks in this country. Literally, they had plenty of small banks. As soon as Dodd-Frank came out and they had these regulations, these small banks didn't have the army of lawyers to go ahead and get those regulations lifted or at least suspended or, redacted a little bit so their major Fortune 500 company could go through and do whatever they needed. Like, the big guys like Bank of America, Bank of New York, all those guys could handle that. Wells Fargo. Obviously, Wells Fargo was in the news last week for ripping off, 5 million people?
Yeah, they opened up
5 million accounts.
It was over, I think it was over 2 million,
2 million
fraudulent accounts, but I mean, even opening up one fraudulent account. That's
bad enough, yes.
Yeah, that's not tolerable.
It's insane. So, and just to view what Jeremy was saying, going back to that, it looks good, and he sounds correct on his theory, but there will come a time where we will have no choice but to do something. We will either run out of debt, they will have to raise rates. Something will happen that will evaporate those phony stock prices because of the profits. The PE ratios are already too high to say that the stock is worth what it is now, and all they've been doing is buying their own shares back, thus creating a supply and demand issue with their shares. The shares are worth more now because there's less of them, and rather than putting that back in development where they can stay, competitive with other companies, they're not doing that. And he's got the argument that, because the stock's going up, that's a silver lining. Well, I got news for you. Stocks don't always go up.
Oh, and not everybody likes slow growth. I mean, just to say that alone is kind of an oxymoron. What do you think? If you're into something to make money, I mean, slow growth, maybe that's good on the side. I don't know what that actually means. The slow growth. Even to hear him talk, it was kind of like what we were talking about earlier today in the show. When I want to invest, okay, and solar panels look great. I can save $4,000 a year in 20 years. But I have to invest initially $42,000,
and that's on the private sector. I can't imagine what the government would rake us over the coals for.
Well, wait a minute. That's Hillary's plan for cleaner fuels.
$500 million solar panels. I'm sure that's cheap.
Well, yeah, and I could not imagine the size of just one of them and how much acreage you would need to cover and the cost of each one of those solar panels. You know, I do a lot of research online. I'm a tech.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of these places that are selling solar panels, I mean, it was something like a 2 foot by 5 foot. You know, you get 5 of those, and that'll put you $3,000 in the hole.
Oh, easily. Not to mention, and that's, again, just the public sector. You got to remember that, you know, the government's famous for paying $500 for a hammer, $300 for a toilet seat. So, I mean, it's not like we're going to get any good deals, you know, by having, you know, the federal government invest, quote, unquote, invest in anything. It's never worked out in the past. It will not work out in the future. No matter who's president, I don't care if it's Clinton or Trump or anybody, it always goes to the fact that you can't trust them to get good deals for the people because they've always got, you know, something on the side that they're playing. Like, you know, maybe Hillary's friend runs a solar company. They're going to get another $500 million, just like Solandra, Obama's friend that ran that solar company.
Absolutely.
And do absolutely nothing. Go absolutely broke after they have $500 million.
Well, yeah, and then they're going to rake us over the coals because, hey, it's taxpayer money. What do we care?
Yeah, they don't.
What difference at this point does it make?
It's not a good idea, but I'll tell you what, if you want to see what we do, if you want to get more acquainted with what we do here at Phil's Gang, go ahead and go to philsgang.com, or by all means, please give us a call at 877-600-4264. And when you go to the site, you can go all around, navigate. You won't be able to click on too much until you become a gang member. And that's what I suggest you do. 877-600-4264. We'll see you on the charts.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.